Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Crossover Pod. I'm here today once again, joined by Garrett Kriebel. We have new mics.
Finally.
Yeah, finally a mic upgrade, so hopefully the sound quality is a little bit better. But we have an exciting, maybe not exciting, but it's a fun episode today.
A very interesting episode, I think, can definitely be built off of in the coming time.
So, to begin, there's obviously a big problem at hand. Two big basketball fans here.
Yes.
There's obviously a problem at hand with the NBA's ratings. And you see a lot of people say different things. And ultimately, it's just kind of a problem for the league. For the casual fan, the ratings are down. For someone like myself, I'm still going to continue to watch basketball. But
I will say, I'm not as big as the casual fan of you as you are, but I do watch a lot of the Sixers games just because it's the Sixers I'm going to watch. But you will only see me watching other NBA games. One, if I have a bet, if I have a bet placed on the game, or if LeBron or Luka Doncic is playing. Other than that, I genuinely won't watch any other NBA.
Yeah, I feel like most basketball fans typically just watch their team. Like, they're fans of their team. Like, I know a few of my friends are NBA fans, but they're mainly like, I probably won't watch basketball unless it's the Sixers. So, obviously, that brings us to the issue at hand. What do you think is causing the NBA's ratings to decline so rapidly?
I think it's a combination of a few things, but if you were to ask me what is the one reason why I think the NBA's ratings are down is I think everyone is too good. And now that might be like, oh, everyone's good, there's going to be great games. No. Everyone's too good to the point where even watching the Sixers game sometimes, one is play is so fast-paced and teams are scoring so many points that teams as a whole, teams take possessions off. Like on the defensive
100%.
end. On the defensive end, teams are like, all right, we can let up 2 points, we'll just go down and hit a three. Like, players are so good that there's not like these big name superstars anymore that are like controlling the league. Like, players are too good. Any given player could drop 25, 30 points on any given night, no matter where you are on the bench. I think players are getting too good, and everyone's like, oh, well, they're not playing defense. I'm like, well, they are. It's just...
It's getting harder.
It is getting so much harder to be a lockdown defender because of how fast-paced the game now is, because of how skilled these players are, and they could just easily go down and get a bucket whenever they want.
Yeah, I somewhat agree with that. I think it's definitely a combination of things. The main thing, in my opinion, ratings-wise, is it's so hard for fans to watch basketball games because of blackouts or NBA League Pass or like...
Yes, streaming has taken over.
Not only that, illegal streaming.
Yes.
Like, a lot of my friends, and I'll say this for YouTube TV, for an example. So, when I was at school, my YouTube TV membership, because it's under Amy and Mark's, it only lasted 90 days. 90 days is like, that's a little bit less than 3 months.
Yeah.
So by
do
the time...
Do you still have YouTube TV?
I still have YouTube TV, but by the time Thanksgiving break came around, right before, it stopped working. I couldn't watch Sixers games anymore because I'm not in the location.
Yeah.
And I know because I see it on Twitter, like, people complain about it all the time. It's the blackouts. Yeah. That's one reason they're down. The second reason, in my opinion, before the pod, I was going to say fouls, but I don't think fouls are as much of an issue because I just checked before we started filming. The average number of fouls called on the team that fouled the least in 2002-2003 season was 19. Now it's 16. The Celtics have 3 less fouls per game than the least fouling team
yeah.
22 years ago.
Yeah.
So it's not fouls. I think, to what you were saying, it's the fact that players just don't really try during the regular season.
They don't care enough because
People don't get paid from regular seasons. They they get paid from winning championships.
Especially with the play-in now. I mean, you have 15 teams in each conference, and 10 of them make the playoffs.
The playoffs should be something that's selective, and I don't know. Would it be crazy to say like 7 teams from each conference first
the football?
Because
I like football because there's a lot of good teams in football that aren't making the playoffs this year. In basketball, basketball is such a different game. Football, if a team's better than another team, that team's going to win the game. Basketball,
more times than not.
Yeah, basketball, any given night, any team can win. So, like, if you have a 10 seed playing the 7 seed in a play-in, they could get a win, get another win the next night, and they're in the playoffs.
And then they can get swept.
And they were 8 games under 100.
500.
Under 500.
Yeah, 100%.
And then get swept by the 1 seed. I think now, and there has been, like, the college football playoff this year, I think has been great. And an expansion was needed. And 12 teams is a lot of teams, but there's also 157 college teams. There is only 30 NBA teams, and 20 of them make the playoffs.
I think the NBA could use an expansion, honestly.
Yes.
And I don't think that the teams are too good. Like you said, there's so much talent to where
like
are guys.
The Cavs and the Celtics and, like, I guess it's the Rockets and I don't even know who's leading the Thunder.
Yeah.
I mean, those are very good teams, but they're like the Thunder have won 16 straight, but on any given night, the Thunder could get 3-1 in a series.
I honestly,
disagree.
I think I do, just because of. I think the Thunder are one of the few teams that's actually, like,
very good.
They're legit, and that's from drafting, and I'm not saying that needs to get broken up, because obviously if GMs play their cards right, they are going to have a Warriors type dynasty.
And part of that is, I think, just draft luck, honestly.
Yeah.
Like, did you know that J-Dub was going to be a superstar? Did you?
That's a credit to the drafters.
Chet and Shai, you both drafted high in the draft.
Yeah.
And you knew that they were going to be good players. You didn't know that they were going to be Shai was going to be an MVP type player, but
no.
You knew they were going to be good players. But like J-Dub.
But just think of that team, for example.
Let Isaiah Joe walk. Isaiah Joe's averaging like 16 games.
Think of the Thunder, for example. They have they're 3 deep. So really, if there weren't an expansion draft, could J-Dub be a number 1? I don't know. I don't know. Maybe a year or two down the line.
Who's the worst number 1 in the NBA right now? Devin Vassell? No, Wemby's on that team.
Whoever's the number 1 for the Blazers.
Johnson.
Cam Johnson. He's definitely better than Cam Johnson. Like, Jaylen Brown could be the number 1 on his own team. And not to say that.
Who's the number 1 on the Blazers? Jeremy Grant?
I don't know. Anthony Simons. The Blazers are I don't know, but I feel like an expansion draft, it kind of makes the talent pool a little bit more diluted. So then there's more. Not that I don't think the competition's bad, but then say if you have 34 teams, then yes, you can have 6 teams make the playoffs.
4 or 5 more teams, and you go to the NBA team, say you can keep 6 guys. You can't keep one of your top 4 scorers in those 6 guys. And I think that, and then they all go into a draft, and the 4 teams draft. I think that could be a great solution to kind of expanding, having a better playoff, make things interesting. Because, think about it with the Sixers. If you tell the Sixers, hey, you can keep 6 guys, one of those 6 guys has to be one of top 3 scorers, or is that?
Yeah, top 3, because then we would lose.
One of them has to be your one of your top 3 scorers. So you say, okay, we'll keep Embiid, Maxey, McCain.
You can't keep PG, so
PG's the top 3 scorer, so PG's gone.
Yabu,
I'd keep
of course.
Yabu as as your
Yeah.
fourth player.
And Caleb, probably.
And then you keep Caleb and probably Drummond.
Whoever the sixth is
Whoever the
doesn't
sixth,
matter.
it
But
doesn't matter. But, like,
yeah.
I think...
And then that's 30 teams worth of top
that's 30
three
teams
players,
versus top
and
three
then
players, yeah. So like if you look at like teams like the Celtics, if they don't keep who's their third scorer right now, like Porzingis gets thrown out there.
Porzingis or Drew, one of the
Holiday.
two, but
Like,
those are like
if you look at the Lakers, like now the Lakers aren't that good, but
Austin would
Reeves becomes,
that's like a big piece for the Lakers.
he is, but he's
No, I'm
Are you
saying
getting rid of? I mean, you could get
No.
rid of LeBron, I guess, but
I'm saying that's a big piece for the Lakers. Like they're losing a big piece, so like that.
it
Yeah.
hurts. It hurts some teams and doesn't. It hurts some teams a lot more than others.
I think it'd be an
But I think
interesting.
it'd be a easier way to. I mean, the details kind of have to get sorted out.
Yeah, I think expansion draft is definitely an interesting strategy. I feel like you're never gonna be able to
It's
get.
like the Rule 5 draft, right?
Yeah, yeah. You're never gonna be able to get players to play hard for all 82 games.
Yeah.
The MVP requirement did not help either because
Not at all.
they're just gonna be like, okay, like Embiid, he knows he's never gonna play 65. He, if you're Embiid, you know you're probably never gonna play above 60.
Oh, not a chance.
Knowing you're going to make the playoffs. So then why would I push myself to make 65 just to win an MVP and maybe put the postseason success in jeopardy? So that rule didn't really work. I think ultimately the defense just needs a few more rules to help it out. Like
Yeah.
I see some people say like abolish defensive 3 seconds. I
agree.
maybe make it 4 or
Make it
5.
yeah.
That could help.
I
But
also
there's
think
too much scoring,
that
too
also-
little defense
the
being played.
offensive 3 second is also never called. Like, and I understand
It's rare, but you can't sit in the
Yeah.
paint for like 5 seconds. Like that at that point, then it gets called.
Yeah.
I just feel like there's a
lot can be done.
there's a lot that can be done. I also think the average NBA fan who doesn't really know that much about the game, they're just average casual NBA fan. I don't think they understand how the game is evolving. Like
Yeah.
people complain there's too many threes being shot. They need to do this and that. Stop shooting so many threes. It is a little bit boring to watch.
yeah.
And the Sixers Christmas Day game is a perfect example. The Celtics they shot a ridiculous
Yeah.
amount of threes. And I was like, okay, like this is getting a little bit ridiculous. But it's still basketball at the end of the day, and I'm still going to enjoy watching it.
Yeah.
Some average fans are thinking to themselves, I'm not watching this garbage. This isn't
This isn't
this
interesting. I'm not-
or like 55, 60, 65-year-olds like this isn't the basketball I grew up watching. I'm not watching it anymore. That's another problem. I don't think you can really fix that.
Yeah, that's unfixable.
I feel like the last big issue is that there isn't a LeBron or a Curry or even an AI that is an American face of the league. And I don't like I'm saying American because it doesn't matter to me. I know Wemby is probably one of the best players in the league.
Yeah.
But a lot of people, for whatever reason, don't want to acknowledge that. But not having a marketable guy, like if Ant could get there, he would probably be the next face.
But the problem is, I don't think like Curry and LeBron and Kobe. You were following these guys from when they were 17 years old in high school, and
Outside of Curry,
Yes.
but yeah.
outside of Curry, but like
You knew who Curry was through his father, but you weren't like, oh my God, Curry's playing college basketball, let me watch. Like, and I think also it has social media has also changed a ton.
It has.
Like,
Definitely.
a lot of more high school players are getting the recognition, and I think what now this isn't a knock, but Cam Wilder's Rod Wave Elite AAU team,
Yeah.
I think has really changed a lot of things because you get these guys that are getting these they play on this AAU team and they're putting up 30, they're dunking on everyone, they're the top 50 prospects. You look at their college stats, 3 points a game, 6 points a game. Like,
There's one guy who I'm not going to say, but I think we both can think of who went to a school down south.
mm-hmm, and is playing 6 minutes a game.
Yeah.
I will Rob Wright is the best player out of Pennsylvania
Yes.
so far this year.
And you would
it's
not see
even
him.
close.
You would not see him playing on an RWE type
No,
team.
you
That's
wouldn't,
not how he
'cause
plays.
He's a pass
He is a
first
true point guard.
He's
He is
true
a
pass
great
first point
defender.
guard. Ahmad Noel didn't play. Another kid who wouldn't play for a Rod Wave Elite team, and UConn's a great team. He's not really getting the playing time. He's also
But-
hasn't been good. Like,
Yeah.
Ahmad Noel was averaging 30 a game last year. And
Unstoppable.
and he was genuinely unstoppable. And now you go to college, and I just think a lot of this, like, rankings and social media, they see these top 50 prospects playing against random AAU teams, dropping 30, dunking on everyone. They're like, oh my God, these kids are insane. They get to college, and you realize that these kids are just 1 in 500 that are playing college basketball.
Because this is a broader issue, but America has a basketball problem.
It does, yeah.
AAU is not how you play basketball.
No, not at all.
AAU basketball is not the right way to play. That's why you see all these European guys,
That's why
Luka,
that's why-
Wemby, Jokic.
Yep.
They're taking the league over because they play the
Because they
right
played
way.
professional at 16 years old in these European countries and played hard, tough basketball.
If,
and they're taking the
for
lead.
example, if Jalen Green at 18 was dropped into the Spanish whatever league that Luka won MVP of, he would be benched
Yeah.
if he
immediately.
played how he did in the U.S. for one quarter over there.
Yeah.
It's
I think
a
a
different.
perfect example of this is what we're going to see on Thursday. At in a high school basketball level, we have an AAU coach and an AAU team going up against a high school coach and a high school and a team that plays
That is
a team that plays high school basketball.
That is a similar
versus
comparison.
a team that plays AAU
fast-paced.
fast-paced. I don't want to say lackluster defense because they play defense. It's a high school game. They're rivalries. You want to play defense. But, okay, we're talking about Haverford and Penn Charter here. Haverford coached by Bernie Rogers, who is a longtime PCL coach, longtime Interact coach, has been around the game forever, coaches the game like these 65-year-olds, these older guys know the game to be, and plays defense, runs plays, has rotations, everything.
Yeah.
But then Penn Charter, a talent everywhere, a very talented team, but they are very fast paced. They play ISO.
More of a
ball.
one-on-one.
They're more one-on-one. Go get a bucket for me basketball. They're not running these plays, and it's going to be a very. I think that's why I think it's going to be such a great game, is because you have one team that's extremely well coached, a lot less skilled,
Clashing of the styles.
It's a clashing of the styles, and last year they split, and it was last year for Penn Charter it was even worse, I think, because it was Brandon's first year coaching. He was new to the high school scene, but now that he's accustomed to it, I think he's changed a little bit. But at the same time, it's really just a clashing of the two styles, no matter which way you look at it.
Yeah.
And AAU is not setting these guys up for success. Matt Gilpool is going to go to LSU and have a good career. Jake's going to go to Northwestern and have a good career.
There are some
But
examples
there's
of people
some
who
examples
do.
of people who go and are great. Jared McCain blew up on social media. And
It's
is
just
great in the NBA.
you can play
But then if you
AAU
look
and
at-
be good though.
Yes. Oh, I'm not saying you can't.
You can. It depends on the player. Like
Yes. But if
Jake,
you look at some kids,
McCain,
yeah.
those type of people. You watch them, Rob, and they play
good
the
players.
game the right way, and they don't have that diva
Yeah.
attitude about them. They don't throw tantrums when they don't get calls. They play the right way. They carry themselves the
Yeah.
right way, and those people you can tell.
You could back to. I'm not saying any names, but back to watching the Rod Wave Elite videos. You have those guys that play for the Rod Wave Elite team, dunking on everyone, scoring, and they're like, who is this kid? Why isn't he a 5-star? Nobody knows his name. Because obviously he's gonna if you're a top 150 prospect, you're going to do damage on a team of superstars against a random AAU team.
Mm.
That's gonna happen. But like with this whole thing, like, why haven't I heard about this guy? Why haven't I done this? Why haven't I done that? Because he's not that good.
Yeah.
Like, the AAU scene can show you true talent of a basketball player, but at the same time, it could give you a false narrative on a lot of people as well.
I think, really, maybe we just answered the question to what the NBA's problem is. It's AAU in America.
It's AAU in America.
It's AAU.
It's an American
It goes
problem.
all the way back down to AAU, and that's something that me and Mark talk about all the time.
Yep.
I mean, it's sad to see, it's sad to admit, but it is
it's never
true.
gonna change.
And
Because they're making so much money.
yeah, exactly.
It's all about money. That's what everything is right now.
Yeah. It's sad. It's
It
sad
is.
to say it, but you know what? It's time to move on to
Big
our
drastic change.
yeah. Switch lanes a little bit on the pod that we did 2 weeks ago. We talked about our Apple Music replay, and now we are coming back to the year awards
Yeah.
with our favorite movies that we saw in 2024.
We
No,
weren't
our
doing that. That's what we were going to do. Because Ben, no, what I'll say is the reason this is getting brought up because Ben and I have, I'd say within the past
I've been on
3 months,
I've been on a very
we've
very
been on
big movie kick.
kicks. Just
Yeah.
watching these like early 2000s, 90s, like these like
Yeah.
famous
The
movies,
quote
the
unquote
classics,
classics.
yeah, the movies that we haven't seen before. So we have our top 7 movies of all time that we've ever seen. I know. Then we're debating, do we do a list of our favorite movies and our best movies? And then Ben was like, well, my favorite movies are the best movies I've ever seen. And I said, to me, there's a little contrast. Like some of my we have some honorable mentions. Some of my honorable mentions aren't very good movies. I just enjoy watching
Yeah,
them a lot.
I think that's fair. That's how some people.
Yeah,
that's
how,
how
like,
some people
yeah.
do it.
And we also have a sports list, but if we have time for it, we'll get to that. But
Yeah.
I think, but no, with what Ben is saying, like a lot of people will watch the classics and these high-rated movies and just won't bother to watch the like warm, like fun movies.
The rom-coms.
Yeah.
It's not. I'm not like a snob.
Oh, I'm not saying you're hating.
No,
No.
I know. I'm not
just-
like a
it's-
snob. I'm not a movie snob.
Yeah, no,
But
it's just
like
the way
I just would never watch the.
that's not your style.
It's
at all.
not. It's not.
And like forever who's watching, who knows you? You are the furthest from a rom-com guy.
Yeah, a lot of. Yeah, everyone knows that. If you know me, I don't. If I'm watching a movie, it's gonna be a good movie.
It's gonna be a thriller or a horror or action.
Yeah, exactly. It's going to be an acclaimed movie,
Yeah.
something that I know is great. All right.
I say we start from the bottom.
So, yeah, let's start at the honorable mentions.
Okay.
Let's go one by one.
All right. My first honorable mention is one of those movies that I said
A
not
feel-good.
critically acclaimed. It's a feel-good movie. It's The Mighty Ducks 2.
I just saw you rewatch that on your
Yes.
letterbox.
Ben,
I've never seen
I
it.
talk about this all the time. Ben's never seen it. The Mighty
Yeah,
Ducks
never
as a series, amazing. One of my favorite series ever.
Wow.
I could just go back to The Mighty Ducks. It's a feel-good. Emilio Estevez is amazing as Gordon Bombay.
What is it about?
Hockey.
Oh.
It's basically about it starts with Gordon, who Emilio Estevez plays, is this like lawyer, and he has a gambling problem, I think, and like gets in trouble, or like a alcohol problem, gets in trouble, and then has to do community service and coach this hockey team in Minnesota. That is just like a bunch of kids that just
A
mess
ragtag
around. It's a
bunch of
ragtag
team, and then
team,
do they go on and win a championship or something? Like,
They do because they picked up because of this new because he's a lawyer. He looked at like zonings and got some extra play, like the good players. So like that, Mighty Ducks 1 is my least favorite. It's because that's just very like corny. You know what's gonna happen. Then
I mean, I never saw the movie,
Yeah.
and I guessed
Yeah.
what happened.
Mighty Ducks 2 is great. He goes on to become the coach of the junior USA hockey team, who actually won the world championship last night. But
Oh, really?
yes, but
Really?
and then Mighty Ducks 3 is when the kids go to college. It's a very just feel good series.
All right, yeah. My honorable mention, or one of my honorable mentions that I'm going to name right now, not really a feel-good type of movie. Actually, it is. It's Call Me By Your Name. I watched it. I watched it a few weeks ago. I was like, you know what? I saw a TikTok about it. I'm a Timothée Chalamet guy. So I decided to watch it for the first time. And, I mean, it is just a beautiful movie. It's a love story. It's an unconventional love story movie. Some people may be turned off by the nature of the love, but honestly, I was just blown away by director. I shouted him out the last time we did a pod, Luca Guadagnino. He also made Challengers. It's just shot in northern Italy at this beautiful villa. It was the middle of winter in 20-degree State College, and I felt like when I walked out of my dorm door, I was going to go walk out to a sunny day. Like, that's the mood that it put me in.
Yeah.
And the last scene of the movie is just, it's heartbreaking.
Yeah. How many honorable mentions do you have?
I have 3.
Okay, so I have 5, so I'll go 2 at a
Yeah,
time for now.
yeah.
I mean, I would love to put 2 in like the same category, but none of them are in the same category. I'll say another one is The Truman Show.
I love that movie.
I love just
So
movies
good.
that really mess with your brain, and I mean, who is that? Who's
Jim
that?
Carrey.
Jim Carrey is just amazing.
Did you watch
Everything he
Ozark?
does. Yes, I did watch Ozark.
Did you notice that Wendy Bird is his wife,
Is his
Laura
wife.
Linney?
Yes. No, I mean Truman Show. It's just you've seen it. There's no need for discussion. It's obviously on there. Another one that I had to put on here. I've seen it in theaters twice, and I saw it again. Is Spider-Man: No Way Home? Now
I haven't seen that.
it's with all 3, with like Toby.
Yeah, Andrew and
Yeah.
Tom.
I had never seen a Spider-Man movie before that movie, and so I went with my friends the one time, and then a few other people the other time. But I was like, I've never seen any Spider-Man, so like, you're fine. I'm like, whatever. So I went on YouTube, watched a 30-minute video of like a recap. They're like, if you've never seen Spider-Man, watch this before you watch No Way Home. Got a quick recap, and when watching this movie, I think it was a long movie. Just I understood everything that was going on, and now the video helps a lot, but it was just beautifully shot, and the script, it was beautifully written, beautifully shot. It was a very good, very, very good movie in my opinion.
Yeah, I've actually never seen that. I've seen all 3 of the Toby Spider-Mans. I've seen all 3 of the Andrew Garfield ones, but I didn't watch any of the Tom Holland. I don't know why, but yeah. Oh yeah, you just gave.
Do 1, then I'll do 2, then you do.
All right. So I'll go with The Wolf of Wall Street.
That was
And
very close to making.
I love Wolf of Wall Street. It's not cracking my top 7 list just because the movies that I have on there I think are better movies. But I've watched The Wolf of Wall Street. I don't even remember how many times.
Yeah.
And it still doesn't get old. As much of a kind of a funny, it's funny at times, it's very sad at
It
times.
just doesn't. You can just watch it.
Yeah, it's never not entertaining.
Yep.
And obviously, Leo, a great performance as Jordan Belfort.
Yeah. Now, kind of going into like the darker side for my final 2. One of them is my second favorite mob movie ever in Scarface.
I've never seen that.
Scarface.
Somehow, I don't know
Al
how.
Pacino was amazing in it. Yeah, I think Goodfellas is overrated, in my opinion. I do not think it's that good.
I've never seen Goodfellas either.
Scarface goes on there, and then Parasite is in Korean. Watched it in English class, and then watched
Phenomenal
it once
choice.
again. Just an absolutely brilliant written and shot movie. Just the camera angles, the way the house was structured.
Beautiful. It's such a nice
house.
That's like half
the whole storyline is just really, and if you haven't seen it, I'm gonna spoil it anyway. Just the fact that just everyone got killed in the end was just so good.
It's poetic. It's poetic.
It's so good.
Okay.
Yeah, those are my 5
Parasite, a great choice. My last is another movie that Leo stars in. It is Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Never seen it. I do want to see it. I do. It's
good.
with McConaughey as well, right?
No, Brad Pitt.
Brad Pitt, yeah.
Brad Pitt and Margot Robbie. I mean, what can I not say about this movie? And the supporting cast: Sydney Sweeney, Austin Butler, Mikey Madison, who was in Anora. I haven't seen it yet, but it's on my list. I've heard great things about it. I want to see it. But it's quick summary. It takes place during the Manson murders in L.A. Leo plays a really famous actor. Brad Pitt plays his stuntman. And they're filming a movie in the middle of the Manson murder sprees. Margot plays Sharon Tate. We all know what happens to Sharon Tate. But the events just play out. Classic Tarantino ending, of course. Yeah. But great movie. If maybe we need to watch that before we go back, because it is a great movie.
I think we need to watch that and The Hateful Eight.
Yeah.
The Hateful Eight isn't on my list, but that's also a great Tarantino. Okay, you start. You start with your number 7.
All right, so my 7. It's going to be controversial that this is at my 7th spot. Okay. But I'm going to go with Fight Club.
I've never seen it.
Really?
Yeah, the Fight Club.
I just recently watched it a few months ago.
Pulp Fiction.
Pulp Fiction's a little overrated.
And The Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind are my top 3 to watch right now.
I've never seen that. But Fight Club, so I won't really say much about it. I don't want to spoil it. Yeah. But it's one of those movies that will definitely mess with your mind. I think there's some really cool camera work done with it, and that's all I'm going to say, because you really can't say anything unless you've seen it.
All right, my number 7 is a movie that I know you have never seen, and I've told you to watch many times, and you just never do. Good Will Hunting is my number 7 movie.
Robin I do Williams, need to see that.
Who is it? Robin Williams and Matt Damon?
Matt Damon. And I think Ben Affleck's in it,
Yes, Ben Affleck is in it as well. I mean, just... You see all the TikToks, like, every teenage boy should watch it. No, genuinely, it is one of the better... It's Robin's best movie, in my opinion, which is a lot to say. And just the entire storyline, the character development throughout the entire movie is just... I don't want to say any more, but the entire character development, the storyline, it's just great. It's amazing.
Good choice. Even though I've never seen it, I've heard great things. Mm-hmm. So number 6, I know you watched this movie. I know you love this movie. It is Django Unchained.
Great. Tarantino's best.
Really?
Yeah,
I do have another Tarantino movie on this list.
Let me I'm going to look up his movies. You can talk, but I'm pretty sure.
Okay, so Django is a great movie. The classic Tarantino motif of revenge. Jamie Foxx, great. What's his name? Who plays Christoph Waltz?
It's Doctor or something.
I forget whoever plays
Dr. Schultz.
Christoph Waltz plays Dr. Schultz.
And then
he's amazing.
Was amazing.
Yeah, well. Leonardo was. At times it was a little bit, times it was a little graphic.
Very, yes.
And a little and a little vulgar. Yeah. My only complaint about the movie is that Tarantino decided to give himself that scene at the end. He loves giving himself roles in his movies. Yeah. That was unnecessary.
He was in Inglourious Bastards as well. He was one of the guys.
Was he?
Yes, he was one of the guys that was getting scalped.
I didn't even notice that.
Yeah.
The ending scene though is amazing. The shootout in the house.
Yeah.
Samuel L. Jackson also plays an
Plays an
amazing
amazing
role. He's
role, yeah.
hilarious in that. But that's all I'm gonna say about Django.
My number 6 is my favorite mob movie ever, The Godfather. Now, I do have to watch The Godfather Part 2. I was waiting to watch it with you. It's the more and more I talk about it, the less likely it is that you ever watch it because you didn't enjoy it.
I want to see it though.
Yes, I do want to see it.
I watched it before I watched The Sopranos.
Yeah.
And then I watched The Sopranos,
Yeah.
and then
Just The Godfather. I mean, Marlon Brando, one of the greatest actors ever, in my opinion. And then it's just it's your classic 3-hour mob, like 1980s slow burning mob movie with an unbelievable scene at the end.
yeah.
One of the best scenes in film history, in my opinion.
My thing with The Godfather was that it took so long to get to what happens.
Yeah.
And it's not like it's that entertaining in the middle either. It at parts it is, but it's still a fairly slow movie for being 3 hours.
Yeah.
So my number 5 spot is another Tarantino movie, and technically it's 2 parts, but actually it is 1 and 2, but technically Tarantino says it is meant to be one movie, and that is Kill Bill.
Mm-hmm. Never seen it.
That's another one that you definitely need to see. Uma Thurman as the bride, great. David Carradine as Bill, great. It's just that's another.
That was a post I saw. Who is Tarantino's best antagonist? Is it between these 4? It was what it had. Was it Hans Landa, unbelievable, The Bride, Django, and Tyler Durden?
Quentin didn't make Fight Club.
Who was
No.
it? Who was the 4th?
You mean like main
His best
character?
Yeah, who was his best character?
I don't know.
I'm trying to I want to figure out who.
I don't think his best character is. I don't think his best character is the bride. I think the movie is better. The character doesn't make the movie. The movie adds to who the character is.
Yeah.
Because she's still fairly mysterious, even after both movies. I don't know. I really like Hans Landa.
Hans Landa is amazing.
He is just... He's cutthroat.
He is.
He's great.
That is also one of the best scenes in movie history, where he's just eating his strudel, talking to Shoshana, and he knows exactly.
Yeah, he knows exactly who she is.
He knows exactly who she is, but he just plays it off the entire time. And it was
The tension
yes.
of that scene is like...
And Christoph Waltz just eating the strudel, and the you can really focus how quickly the smacking of the lips, how much he was enjoying it, just gloating it in her face, and that she only ate one bite. Because one thing that I noticed was, or what I read was that cream isn't kosher, and he got the strudel with the cream on top.
Oh.
So he realized he noticed
he's
that she
forcing her to...
He forced her to eat the cream, because if she didn't, then he would have known immediately.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is Quentin for you.
Yeah. Now, my number 5 is Django. I mean, we already talked about it.
Yeah.
Django
Great choice.
is my number 5.
My 4, I know you haven't seen this. I think you would like it, though. It's Mulholland Drive.
I've heard a lot about it.
Just recently watched it. It is, I want to say, an hour, or no, not an hour, 2:40, so it's a long movie.
Yeah.
And it is the biggest what the hell did I just watch movie I've ever seen. There's a ridiculous plot twist If you were to rewatch it, I think it would be a little bit. Obviously, you know what's gonna happen. The signs are there. Such a good plot twist. The first 45 minutes, I was like, "This isn't that good. Like, do I even want to finish it?" And boy, am I glad I did, because it is just.
Yeah.
It's David Fincher. Like, you saw Seven, right?
Yes, I did. 7 was amazing.
Same director as Seven. He also made The Social Network, but that's nothing. Or no, it's not David Fincher. It's David Lynch.
I hate
David
The Social
Lynch.
Network.
Really?
I do not think it's a good movie at all.
I think it's pretty good.
I wasn't for me.
Yeah, no, it's not David Fincher. It's David Lynch, I think. But anyways, great movie. Definitely put it on the top of your list.
My number 4 is a movie that I've watched, I think, 2 or 3 days ago. It's The Usual Suspects. Kevin Spacey.
Already up to the number
Yes.
3 spot?
That's number 4. Number 4.
Oh, yeah.
The Usual Suspects. Just another one of those mess with your mind type of movies. Kevin Spacey deserves 1000% the Oscar that he got for that movie. Even though he's a horrible man, Kevin Spacey, one of my favorite actors ever. One of the best actors ever.
The role he plays as Frank Underwood?
Yes. Is ridiculous. Yeah. But no. The Usual Suspects, yes. I've only watched it once, and I watched it the other day. This could be some recency bias, but it is one of... that's my number 1 movie for Ben to see right now. It is a 1990s... It's your classic... brutal... slash... like... gory slash mystery slash just it's your classic. I'm trying to see who was the director. It's just your classic. It's just Bryan Singer is.
I've heard the name before. I don't know if I've watched
He also
any of his
has
movies.
he's done all the X-Men movies. He did Bohemian Rhapsody. So yeah, he's done the X-Men movies. But no, it was just an unbelievable movie. Benicio del Toro, some just Giancarlo Esposito.
Really? Before Gus Fring?
He is, yes. It was pre-Gus Fring, yes. It just, yeah, it is a very, very good movie with a crazy twist ending that, if I were to watch it again, it obviously wouldn't hit the same because you know what's going to happen.
Same with Mulholland Drive.
But it's just like, oh, it was amazing.
Yeah. I remember you did tell me that you couldn't tell me much about the movie without giving it away.
Like, I can't even say, like, really anything.
Okay. Well, my number 3 is a movie that came out this year.
Wow.
Starring Timothée Chalamet as Paul Muad'Dib Atreides. It's Dune 2. I don't think this is recency bias. I've seen it 3 times. It's honestly, it is a visually stunning movie. Denis Villeneuve directing, just some of the most beautiful shots I've ever seen. I know they filmed in the desert in, I want to say Jordan or maybe Israel during what they call the golden hour, and there's like, and it's an hour a day where they can get these shots, and just, it's beautiful. And the CGI in the movie is also
Amazing.
Unbelievable. It's so realistic.
Yeah.
Austin Butler plays Fade Routha, who just he is, you can't even recognize it's Austin Butler. I will say one complaint that I have about Dune 2. It was maybe not a complaint, but you haven't seen it, right?
No,
you only watched one.
Yeah.
I think the love story of Zendaya or of Chani and Paul is a little forced, especially in the second movie. But other than that, it also perfectly sets up for the third movie, which is coming out next year. Almost 2 years. It's coming out December 2026, so like It's all technically next year, but it's a long wait.
Yeah.
But Dune 2 taking the 3 spot.
My number 3, this honestly might shock you, but it's just a beautifully written, beautifully shot, a brilliantly acted movie, Forrest Gump.
I don't think I've seen it.
Oh my goodness. Forrest Gump. Pretty sure it's Tom Hanks.
Yeah.
Just the way it was written, it is one of those feel-good movies, but at the same time it's still critically acclaimed. Like, it was genuinely just beautiful, like the shots, like the living in, I'm pretty sure it was filmed like in Alabama on this like lot of land. Well, Tom Hanks plays a brilliant Forrest Gump, who, and I think that's Tom Hanks' specialty, is playing dumb characters. He plays dumb characters brilliantly, and I just think I could just go back and watch Forrest Gump any day of the week, and it is always going to be good. It always brings a tear to my eye at the end. It is just an unbelievable movie.
Yeah, I've never seen it, as I said. I do know the Forrest Gump Frank Ocean song, a great song, but I've never seen Forrest. I'll add it on to the list. Okay, so my number 2 spot may be a controversial choice. I've seen this movie probably 7, 8, maybe 9 times.
Wow.
It is Get Out.
Okay, I knew it was going to be hot up there on your list.
It is Get Out.
Movie.
And I am a big horror guy.
You are a massive horror guy.
In like recent years, I kind of stopped. Actually, not in recent years. In the past year, I stopped watching as much horror because I feel like it's hard to find a horror movie that
scares you.
Not only that's scary, but also
also
somewhat that's somewhat
like those
believable
scary
and good.
movies that just aren't good.
That they like the Terrifier movies.
Like Insidious, absolutely terrifying, but it's your classic like painted-faced demon. Like not realistic. Like nobody's getting possessed and is gonna.
Yeah, I mean, like
kill someone.
no horror movie is really realistic, but
Get
so
Out
I
is the
said
most
I
realistic.
it sounds stupid to say a horror movie that is realistic, but some of
It
them
is.
are.
Get Out
Yeah.
is one of those.
Other than the brain switching, it is realistic. But I mean, Get Out is just the more you watch it, the more you understand, and there are things that I've picked up my 5th or 6th time, like little nuances in the dialogue or little references that they make that I'm like, okay, like this is really well written. Jordan Peele. Us is also a great movie. I was debating putting that in the honorable mentions. I've seen that many times. But yeah, Get Out is just a classic.
My number 2 is this. I think this movie now recently has been very overhated, and I think it deserves to be in everyone's top 3. The Shawshank Redemption is
Never seen that either.
this. I mean, you haven't seen.
I haven't seen a lot of classic movies. I know.
Either have I. I haven't. You've seen all the Tarantinos.
I haven't seen all of them. I have.
But you've seen like Kill Bill. You've seen Pulp Fiction. You've seen.
Yeah, I wanted.
Fight Club's not Tarantino. But
I've seen Kill Bills.
You've seen the action. You've seen the action movies.
I haven't seen Jackie Brown. That's one that I want.
I've seen like The Mob, The Prison. I've seen The Mob, The Prison movies.
Because that's what Usual Suspects.
Yeah.
Godfather. Scarface. Like Shawshank Redemption though is probably you need to watch Shawshank Redemption at some point. Samuel L. Jackson. I'm pretty sure it's Samuel L. Jackson.
Yeah, it is.
And I forget who the main character's name is, but just unbelievable acting. It's a long movie. The script is written beautifully.
What is the premise? Some guy tries to break out of prison?
The premise is this guy who it's up for debate if he actually killed he went to jail for killing his wife and her lover, and got sent to like Shawshank, which was the number one like max security prison, and it's like a guy like escaping prison. That's like the whole premise of the movie. But it just gets so much deeper because it's like, did he really kill his wife? Did he like? Yeah, it is very, very. It's a very, very good movie, and like the main character, Andy Dufresne, just disappears from the back quarter of the movie until the very last scene, and it is just amazing. It's just I can't
I've
say
heard
enough.
very high praises.
Yeah,
It's
I
very
can't say
high.
enough.
It's very high ranked on Letterboxd too.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So I'm up. My number
Your
one.
number one movie.
I'm regretting putting this at one a little bit because it could just be. I have this thing where if a movie I watched that I loved, sometimes I don't remember the things I didn't like about it.
Yeah.
But this movie, I don't think there was anything. You had it on your list earlier. It is Parasite.
Yeah.
I've only seen it once,
Mm-hmm.
so it might be time for a rewatch soon. But
Did you watch it in English or Korean?
Korean.
Same.
I
With the English subtitles.
Yeah, and usually, like, I watch Naruto I don't do subtitles, I do dubbed.
Yeah.
It's like the voices. But so I was like, well, am I gonna not like it? Am I gonna have a problem?
Yeah.
But no, the acting was so good that even not being able to understand one word of Korean, you still understand the themes. And it is really a beautiful story because, like, how willing are you to do anything it takes to get rich? They're a poor city living in the slums of Korea, and they make it out. But they don't make it out. One of them makes it out. Is it really worth it? And then I feel like there's many plot twists. The plot twist of the old housekeeper being locked up in the basement with her husband.
Yep.
The obviously, like you said, the ending scene, the fact that the dad was still locked up in the basement, flickering the lights on and off.
Yeah.
It's beautiful, and like I said earlier, I do want to expand a little bit on it. The house makes the movie so much better
It does.
because I think
The stairway down to the basement, it's just sitting in the kitchen,
so
lit
unsettling.
all around, and then just dark. And
so unsettling.
yeah,
The house, I think, does a really good job of adding to the environment and adding to the feel of the movie, because it's like very nice house, but on the outside it's very industrial. It's
Yes.
very bleak. It's
their entire house, and then they have that bright green yard, but then all around it is very modern.
yeah.
Whites, grays, like blacks. It's very. Like,
It sets up the ambiance
yes.
and everything,
Yeah.
and I love the movie. Maybe at number one, it's a bit of a stretch. There is some movies that I haven't seen, but
Yeah.
Parasite deserves
Right.
to be up there.
Ben knows my number one movie. You know what it is. You're gonna hate. It doesn't matter. My number one movie only has a 7.1 on IMDb, a 72% on Rotten Tomatoes. But when and this movie isn't your critically acclaimed movie. It's not your greatest shot movie. It's not your best movie you've ever seen. But when I tell you I can go back to this movie and I could watch this movie every single day for the rest of my life, Dirty Dancing is
Jesus Christ.
my
I've never
number
seen
one movie of all time. You would hate it.
I don't even know who's...
Patrick Swayze, Jennifer Grey. Do you know Gilmore Girls? Have you seen Gilmore Girls?
Heard of it, never seen it.
The grandmother in Gilmore Girls is...
How is Dirty Dancing your...
It is just... Oh, God. It is just a Dirty Dancing. It's your classic young girl, older man love story that has its problems, family drama, just absolutely beautiful movie. I could watch it every day.
That is really right up your alley because
yeah.
you like Dawson's Creek, you like
Dawson's Creek's
One Tree
horrible.
Hill.
One Tree Hill is unbelievable.
You used to even
Friday Night Lights.
even after it fell off, you continued to
All-American.
watch All American.
Outer Banks.
You love you just
I love the
you love a good
rom-com.
love story.
I mean, I watched all the kissing booths. I watched all the afters. I've watched, like, I'm trying to think. Like, 10 Things I Hate About You. 10 Ways to Lose... How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days. I love I'm not as big of a rom-com. I love the love story.
You love the romance
I love the
movies.
romance. I love the romance stories. What
That's-
can I say?
I
But no,
mean-
Dirty Dancing is my #1 movie of all time. Could watch it every single day for the rest of my life.
Yeah, that definitely is a hot take. Probably not gonna find it on
Yeah,
the
no. Ben would
on
never
the top
watch
of
it,
men.
but-
I you know what? One day I will.
You have to. Just
One day
because
I
of how
will.
Much I talk about it. You have. You
Yeah,
have to watch.
I will one day. I just have so many.
So many more that are more important.
Yeah, exactly. We're gonna wrap things up. Thank you for watching. Garrett had to step in today. We had another episode planned, but Garrett had to step in.
Hopefully happens.
Hopefully,
Yeah.
be the replacement guest. But yeah, thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next episode.